Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Downtown Eastside Heart of the City Festival. My name is Terry Hunter, and I'm the Executive Director of Vancouver Moving Theatre and the artistic producer of the Downtown Eastside Heart of the City Festival. I also carry the name Nangulga, which in Haida means industrious one. And it's my honor to welcome you to this final day of the festival with our dear friends from the Ukrainian Hall. This is our traditional Ukrainian Day at the festival, and we've got an amazing lineup of activities for you today. Taking place here at the Ukrainian Hall on the unceded homeland Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. We're very honored to be able to do our work on their lands, and we thank them for welcoming us to their territory and for the care that they are taking for our land and our waters. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce my dear old friend, Debbie Karas from the Ukrainian Hall. Debbie runs the wonderful Ukrainian School of Dance at the Hall. And Debbie's going to take it away and take you through what's going to be a really thrilling day. And I'm looking forward to coming down later on to pick up my Perogy order. Happy Ukrainian Day at the Heart of the City Festival, everyone. Over to you, Debbie.
Thank you, Terry. Today we greet you from our Cultural Center at 805 East Pender Street. We are marking the closing of the 18th Annual Heart of the City Festival with a special Ukrainian Day. And at this time, I would like to introduce the president of our organization, Diana Borshch, to say a few words.
Thank you, Debbie. On behalf of the Association of United Ukrainian Canadians, we extend a very big thank you to the Heart of the City Festival Committee for providing us with the opportunity to share with you our Ukrainian Day. We have a lot of exciting events that will take place throughout the day, and we invite you to join us as we explore our Ukrainian culture.
Just a quick rundown on the events that will be taking place today. Shortly, we will begin with the pierogi making session. Please join us and learn how to make these delicious dumplings, which are a mainstay and favorite of all those attending our pierogi lunches. Following the video presentation, we will be joined by our culinary experts to take your questions. Then between 11 and 2, we invite you to drop down to our hall to purchase some of our homemade pierogi. And as an added special bonus, you will also be able to purchase borshch. You can pre-order these items by visiting us at auuc-vancouver.square.site and clicking on the purchase button. And while you're down here for the sale, you'll also be able to pop by and see some of the lovely crafts that have been made by our craft club and perhaps pick up a Christmas item or two. Just a reminder for those who are dropping by that we are implementing safety rules following COVID protocol. Anyone entering the building will need to show proof of being fully vaccinated, and masks are mandatory. However, we are more than willing to accommodate anyone, and those still wishing to make a purchase can do so and just pop by and let us know, and we will take your order out to you by the door. At 11:30 a.m., we will be conducting a live interview with 3 of our elders. This year's Heart of the City Festival's theme, Stories We Need to Hear, will definitely be reflected in the stories of these elders. Then from 1 to 2:30, we will be sharing with you a special video, Costume Treasures from Baba's Trunk to the Stage, a creatively crafted documentary on the journey of costumes from the village to the stage. This presentation delves into the deep history of costuming as it explores the variety of costumes found in Ukraine. Then at 3, we end the day, Ukrainian Day, with the closing festival celebrations that will be taking here, or celebratory ending that will be taking place here today at 3, and we will be showing you a video of our precious School of Dance children. And now, on with the show.
Hello, and welcome to Pyrohy Making 805. My name is Diana Kloparchuk, and I am president of the auuc-Vancouver branch located at the Ukrainian Cultural Center, 805 East Pender Street. Our hall was built in 1928, and since that time, there have been cultural and social activities taking place within our walls. Since we first opened, we have been making Pyrohy to feed guests at our various concerts, gatherings, and Pyrohy lunches. At last year's Heart of the City Festival, we shared with you what went into making borshch for one of our events. Today, we will share our recipe for our delicious Pyrohy, another jewel of our Ukrainian cuisine. Pyrohy are a simple food and were a basic staple for any Ukrainian household. The ingredients themselves are simple: potatoes, flour, salt, eggs, oil, water, cheese, onions, and butter. It's what you do with these ingredients that make the difference. Shopping for the ingredients doesn't take long. We find russet potatoes to be the best to use, along with shredded medium cheddar cheese, cooking onions, canola oil, large eggs, salt, white pepper, and butter or margarine, your choice. We make our Pyrohy over 3 days, as we usually make 60 to 80 pounds of potatoes at a session. At home, you might do it all in one day, or prepare your filling on one day and then make the dough and pinch the Pyrohy on the next day. Potatoes are peeled, rinsed, and evenly cut into pieces. The onions are peeled and finely chopped. Potatoes are boiled and onions are sautéed. The boiled potatoes are drained and the potato water is retained. The potatoes are put in the mixer with the paddle in place. Once the potatoes are partly mashed, the cheddar cheese, sautéed onions, salt, and pepper are added. The mixture is then finely mashed.
Okay.
Good.
Here, Larry's gonna try too.
Good.
Good.
The potato filling is then transferred to a deep-sided pan. Using a hand masher, the final mashing is done to ensure consistency of the filling, no missed potato lumps. The retained potato water will be used in the dough making. The hall is set up for the pinchers, who will arrive a little later. Beat the eggs in a mixer until frothy. Add the oil and potato water and beat some more. With the dough hook in the machine, add the flour. Pour the beaten egg mixture into the dough machine and let the dough hook work until a soft dough is formed. Turn the dough out on a floured counter and hand knead. Cut off a small chunk of dough and form a palm-sized ball. Knead the ball, and when it is ready, let it rest under cover for an hour before rolling. Once the dough has sufficiently rested, the dough ball is passed along to the dough sheeter, where it is hand-rolled slightly to allow the dough to pass through its rollers. Each piece of dough is passed through twice before it is given to the cutter, who hand-rolls the sheet to pie crust thickness, cuts the dough into circles, and places them on trays that will be given to the pinchers. The pinchers are supplied with filling, dough circles, and a board for placing the finished Pyrohy on. Pinchers have their own method of pinching, but all agree that the most important fact is to seal the Pyrohy well, so the filling won't run out when the Pyrohy is cooked.
If you have any stories you can tell.
Have any stories? No, I don't have stories. All I have is, it's so nice to be back here doing this. That's all I have. Stories of the older ladies that used to come down here, and I used to...
You watch them do it?
Watch them do it. Learn how to do it with them. Boy, that was some time ago. I've been pinching pierogies here for probably 40 years. Oh yeah, see, this is better. I'm gonna do
Oh, one hand, one glove off.
Yeah. My pinching hand is going to be...
You can feel it, right?
Yeah. That would be great. That.
You like taking care of us. We love our kids.
Well, here's the bell.
You have any stories to tell, Marguerite?
No, that I've been here for more than 50 years doing this.
Wow. Does it feel good coming back to do pierogies?
Oh yeah, it's now it's a bit more difficult because I have to do it by bus. I'm not allowed to drive anymore.
No. And you're living out in
Tsawwassen.
Tsawwassen. Wow, that's a long
So
ride.
I took the 9 o'clock bus, and
Wow.
I was on time.
Very dedicated.
Yeah,
You come out here for the orchestra too, right?
well, I play in the orchestra.
Yeah.
I've done it now for so many years.
You get used to it?
And the kids grew up here doing the dancing.
Right. Nice. Well, thank you. Do you two have any stories to tell about pierogi pinching or anything like that?
Well, this is the first time I brought Louise for pierogi pinching.
Okay.
So she's a dancer.
Oh, right. With the School of Dance? Or okay. Nice.
So she's learning about and thinks that hers look like croissants more than hers.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I can see that relationship.
But, she's doing an excellent job with the potatoes.
Ah, good. Oh, she's doing the balling and putting it on. Okay, I get it. Everyone has their own process.
Yeah, but they've got this down
Yeah,
to a really slick art in here where they're bringing us the dough when we're out,
yeah,
and I don't know, they anticipate the timing really well.
Yeah.
This is quite impressive how it all comes
Yeah.
together.
yeah. And with COVID, we have to have strict processes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they don't have us going up there,
Yeah,
so everybody's bringing, so there's not very much interaction. You can see they need dough, they have their
the
tray
hands
up in
up.
the air.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
That's good.
Thank you. Hi, Audrey. Hi, Joyce.
David. David, I'm calling you David.
Danny. Here we have some long-time members of the hall.
Yeah, yeah.
Audrey, how long have you been at the Ukrainian Center?
At this one, my goodness, I'd have to think back. I came here in 1957, the fall
Wow.
of 1957.
So that's what,
I've been pretty well coming most of that time.
43, 60, wow, 60,
Yeah, I'll let
60,
you figure it out.
64 years. Wow. Older than me.
Yes, but I've taken part in so many of the different activities that, there's always something. I used to sing, well, I still sing in the choir.
Yeah.
But I used to sing, a few solos and a few, duets and stuff like that, in a trio for a number of years. And I played the mandolin at one point.
Wow.
And at the beginning of my career, I danced as well. So I've done it all.
Yeah.
And I enjoy doing this as well.
Nice.
Parades.
Do you have any special techniques for pierogi pinching?
Not really. Actually, my fingers maybe aren't quite as good as some people. They tend to get the edges of the dough right where the cut is, and they get it right pitched together, and those don't ever come apart.
Is that the trick, is to make sure that the edges are really
Yeah,
tight so that
the very, very cut edge is
Yeah.
where it's softest and maybe wettest, and you put that together and it
Is
sticks.
there anybody else
Right.
at your table?
And what happens if it's not properly sealed?
Oh, well, the dough can come out in roiling, boiling water.
Oh, okay.
And make the water all kind of full of the potato mixture.
Right. So that's not
You
good.
don't want that.
No. Okay. Thank
You want
you.
them nice and clean.
Yeah. And this is what you've done so far.
Yeah.
Hi, Joyce. Do you have any special techniques or any stories to share?
Well, I go over the edge 3 or 4 times just to make sure I've got it right, and
Yeah.
I flip it around. And I like a half moon shape.
Ah,
Yeah, I like it with the little ears.
so when we eat your pierogies, we'll know if it's yours or not.
Actually, that's a good idea, because if you put the ears up a little bit, they fit in together.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Nice.
Try to.
And these are yours. Thank you, Joyce. Hello, girls.
Hi. Don't look at ours.
No, it's good.
Ours are not as practically perfect as everybody.
But everyone's unique. That's what's so special about homemade ones, right?
Yeah.
Or all-made ones.
You can tell that 3 different people have made these. And they get better as you go. They do. That was the start, and now we're at some pretty nice ones up here. Check out this beauty. That's pretty perfect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any special techniques or stories to share?
Don't do this. What did you do? Something fat. Stretch it out as little as possible in the beginning, and that will serve you well. That's what I'm remembering. Oh no, this one's facing the wrong way. Here we go.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
Do you have any stories to tell, or
Any stories to tell about
or techniques or tips?
techniques or tips? Well, you pinch, pinch, pinch. Mine don't look pretty, but they will not fall apart in the water.
That's good. As long as it tastes good, right?
Taste is the most important.
Yes.
You got to get your filling right, and our filling's been made up just to perfection. So
Yes.
consistent every time.
Yes.
I have long asked for the recipe, and I've never gotten it.
Oh, we're gonna share the recipe.
Oh,
Yes.
well.
Yes.
I let people at work know that I was going to be pinching pierogies this weekend, and they immediately, like 3 hands went up.
Nice. Cool.
Just without further prompting. So they have been deprived of pierogies for too long.
Yes. Well, thank you for helping out. And do you have any tips or techniques or stories to share?
Well, I'm a novice, so I'm new at this. I just learned I have to turn them all face over the direction, and I have to double pinch to make sure that they're really firmly pinched and don't come up to the top.
And you create a little pattern on the pierogies, I see.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I have some uncertainty,
No, it looks good.
but I'm getting lots of encouragement and support and advice.
Good. Thank you.
Finished trays of Pyrohy are placed in the freezer until they are frozen. While the Pyrohy are being packaged, each is inspected to cull out any that look like they might open up when cooked. Bring the pot of water to a full boil. Add your Pyrohy. We do 30 per pot. Do not attempt to boil too many at a time. Stir carefully so the Pyrohy will not stick to the bottom of the pot. Boil for 5 to 6 minutes until all Pyrohy come to the top of the water. Scoop the Pyrohy into a colander to drain. Some people rinse the Pyrohy before putting them into a large bowl. Add melted butter or margarine and toss the Pyrohy to ensure all are coated with butter. Now they are ready to eat. Pyrohy are best served with caramelized onion and sour cream. Crispy bacon bits give an added flavor. Enjoy! Smacznego!
Hi there. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching the video that we presented to you. Just a reminder that at a later date we will have that video up on our website at auuc-vancouver.square.site. So you didn't have to write frantically the recipe down. It will be there for you to see and to view it. And also the process, you can review it at your own time. However, for those of you maybe not inclined to make them, just a reminder also that you can purchase the pierogies here today at the hall. You can either pre-order again at auuc-vancouver.square.site or drop by, and at this point there are still orders available that we can supply for you. Also joining us at this moment are the culinary experts at our hall, those with the experience of making the pierogies, one a longtime member who's been making them for many years, and someone a little newer to the process. And the first person I'd like to introduce is the president of our organization. She's as comfortable sitting at a meeting and conducting the businesses of our hall as she is helping out in the kitchen, and her name is Diana Kleparchik. And the other person I'd like to introduce is my cousin and dear friend Dolores Fung, who is instrumental in making a lot of our events possible. She handles all of our malankas, the pierogi lunches, and we certainly are grateful for all the work that she does here. So Diana, I thank you for joining us, and I'm going to actually ask you the first question, if I may.
Sure.
There's many names given to these little dumplings: pierogies, Pyrohy, vareniki. What's your take on the different names, and do they all refer to the same item?
Well, traditionally, their vareniki is the actual name. Vareniki means, comes from vareta, which is to boil, and that's how we first do the Pyrohy. Pyrohy is a Western Ukrainian term, and most of our people came from the Western Ukraine, most of the people here associated with the hall, so Pyrohy are what we call them. And then there's also pierogies, which is the version that came from English, I suppose. The Perogy is a Russian term, but that's what you see on all of the boxes that you buy in the store. They often say pierogies, and that's not Ukrainian, but Varenika is the actual name, and Pyrohy is the Western Ukrainian name.
Thank you. And maybe this is a question for both of you, for you, Diana, and for you, Dolores. At the end of the video, we showed the viewers some of the different recipes that can be incorporated into making. The filling in particular, I guess, is what would change from one to the other. I don't know how much of change there is in the actual dough itself, but are there other fillings that maybe you didn't share with the viewers that are also possible fillings, savory, sweet?
Always stays the same. Always when I grew up, we had other kind of fillings that we did, like sometimes on special occasions, like I know at Christmas time, my mom used to always make cabbage pierogies, like with for just special occasions, and prune ones were always popular at Christmas time for us, and potatoes and onion only, no cheese inside, so it was just regular. So those were the things that I grew up with. And then of course you have some blueberries, are my favorite of all time pierogies growing up. I remember my grandma always going to the garden, getting blueberries and putting them in the pierogies, and with sour cream. You wouldn't think it would match, but it matches very well. That's my favorite. I don't know, how about you, Diana?
Well, I have a little trick with the ones with blueberry. A relative of my husband's served them by melting the butter and putting honey, and then tossing the vareniki in this butter and honey, and it was just absolutely delicious. Melt in your mouth. And they weren't eaten as a dessert. They were eaten like that could be the whole dinner, would be these vareniki made with that and having the honey on it. Excellent.
One of the questions that came through is, how many pierogies does the hall make each year? And I guess we would be referring to a year where we're fully operational, not a COVID year.
Well,
yeah, we make quite a bit. Well, when we do it for one day, we make probably about 2,700 pierogies for the one day when we come here. So, and it takes about 3 days, like doing the filling first, and then we come back and do the dough and things like that, and the pinching and all that happens all in one day, and it usually takes a few hours. So we're here at 9 in the morning till probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. pinching and stuff like that. So 2,700 pierogies probably for one session, and we do about four
Yes. So
for a year.
my quick math tells me that that would be somewhere around 10,800 vareniki. So there you go.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And maybe a question more for you, Diana. You know, you watch the video, we see the dough making machines, we see the, you know, the rolling machines, we see all of the technology, of course, that we're fortunate enough to have. It makes it a lot easier when you're making that quantity. Can you tell us perhaps something about the changes that you've seen over the years? How many years have you been making them, and what are those sort of changes that are most notable maybe for you?
Well, I started making vareniki here at the hall in the 60s, so that's quite some time ago. And at that time, the women were the only ones that did vareniki. And now, if you look at our work crew that you saw on the video, you see that there are men involved too. And not only in just the eating, but in the actual preparation, the kneading, all of that. And before, of course, everything was done by hand. Yes. So the job of the kneader was a very important one, and it took a lot of muscle power to do that. And yet those, I'm going to call them little old babas, just worked it all out. And some of them even had to, when we got the kitchen raised, the counter raised, they had to actually stand on a stool because they couldn't reach the counter. So yes, there have been lots of changes, but I guess basically the thing is that now men are involved right through the whole works.
With the kneading of the dough, okay, so now we're using that machine, and I know from having made them that the dough itself it's lovely. It comes out, it's very soft, and it's makes it easy to work with, easy to pinch, it stays together. The question I have is, for those people now at home who will have the opportunity to watch the video and sort of see the recipes at the end of it, are there any tricks for those who don't have that equipment, who might be making it totally by hand? Are there tricks to the kneading of the dough? For potato water is obviously a key. I think it helps to make it softer, the softer dough. But is there anything you would like to share with the folks out there who are going to be making the smaller family size portions?
I would just say, like when you're doing the kneading part of it, you know, when you mix your dough up together and everything like that, just knead it so that everything is all incorporated for about 10-15 minutes to knead it, and then let it rest. It's important that you let this dough rest, because it'll get tough if you don't let it rest. So if you let it rest for an hour and then work with it, it'll be all good. You'll have perfect dough every time.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't add anything to that. All my vareniki are made here at the hall, so we do it all in one job.
And for me personally, one of the tricks I learned having made them here, what's done at the hall, is having the sautéed onions included in the filling.
Yes.
And growing up, my family never did that, you know. So, and I think it again gives that added flavor having it inside. I mean, of course, having it outside, smothered in butter and onions, it's just it makes it extra special. In your personal opinions, why are homemade pierogies better than store-bought ones?
Oh,
Dough is more tender.
yes.
Filling is tastier.
So,
Love goes into making
Yeah.
them. I don't know if the love goes into making them at the
you feel very
stores.
satisfied after you make all your pierogies and you're going to sit down and eat them fresh. It doesn't taste any better than that.
Yeah.
Fresh is the best, but if we have to freeze them, that's the second best. But I say fresh is really good. And these are fresh, like we don't cook them before. Sometimes people cook them before and then freeze them and then warm them up, but I prefer them having freeze the dough when they're not cooked and then boil them after. Always tastes better. My mom always used to cook them first and then freeze them and then reheat them, but I prefer them having.
And don't forget, if you have leftovers, boy, the next day fried in a frying pan and with eggs, my goodness, that's a delicious.
What did you say? Fried with what?
Fried and then have an egg, like just eggs, eggs and Pyrohy.
Like a breakfast?
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
morning?
a brunch. Oh yes, oh my husband loves that.
Nice.
Now that I've never done. I've never had.
Oh.
Them.
Yeah. They get them very crispy.
I have had pierogies and trout before, fresh trout with pierogies for breakfast.
Oh.
Anyhow, is there anything else that you would like to share with the viewers? Anything that maybe, you know, didn't come across in the video, something that you can think of that you would like to share with us?
The only thing I'd like to say is, like, our volunteers here, we need our volunteers, and it's very crucial to have that community here to do the pierogies, because if we don't have volunteers to do our pierogies, we will not be able to sell pierogies here at the hall. So we value our volunteers very much.
And if someone is interested in coming and volunteering, I guess they could just send us a message on our website and let us know, and we'll be able to put the viewers in touch with you guys, and you can just add them to the list, and then whenever there's a session, they can come down and bring a family member or two. And sometimes the best way to learn is by being, you know, at the place and learning firsthand from those who are experts. And I think it's also neat that, you know, there was that picture of some of the Dove Bush dancers who came down to help out.
Yes.
And seeing those dancers, you know, contribute to the hall and contribute to the organization. And I think having that intergenerational thing, I remember being here and growing up learning how to make them as well. And I think it really, I don't know, it's just a very warm and inviting atmosphere for everyone involved. And I don't know, this is cute. What is the correct punishment for people who put ketchup on their pierogies?
Oh my goodness. You know, stranger things have happened. Okay, I'm going to confess, my favorite is to have strawberry jam with my vareniki and sour cream. So I do it all the time. So yeah, but ketchup, I don't know.
But, sorry, and again, I think it's one of the neat things about living in Vancouver is that it's such a multicultural city, and you know, you see pierogies with, I don't know, potato curry fillings, or you see pierogies with, you know, just different fusions where you're able to sort of, you know, broach those different cultures. And, you know, really every culture has a dumpling, you know, Japanese gyozas and Asian cuisines. I think it probably was a staple because it was a fairly inexpensive food that was readily available at the time. But since then, I think there has been a bit of an explosion, so to say, of different types of pierogies available to purchase and available for making as well. So I don't know if there are any other questions coming up here, but I don't see any at the moment. So I think what I'd like to do is to thank both of you for again, as always, donating all of your time and coming down and producing that beautiful video that'll be, you know, part of the legacy that along with the borshch one that was presented last year. And for anyone who didn't get to see that one I believe is up on our website. So thank you both for coming by, and we look forward to seeing what's in store for the rest of the day. And again, thanks very much for visiting with us.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, it was nice. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.